Wow. Welcome to Targeted, the show for masculinity and success. And I'm your host, Atlas Altman, former military commander turned best-selling author, now bringing you a podcast that you can use for sharing stories from highly successful men so that you can figure it out for yourself. Welcome. This is Targeted. Welcome back to Targeted. Today I have with me Jake Reed. Say hi to everyone.
What's going on, folks? How we doing?
Jake is one of our fighters I'm wearing his shirt. Actually, it's phenomenal. I remember when he gave it to me, I was like, "This is badass."
I don't know if anybody wears it as good as you.
I appreciate that, man. He got me an extra medium because he knows I like to keep it tight.
Keep them guns showing, baby.
No, Jake recently set the record in RUF cage. That's Ringside Unified Fighting for the fastest submission ever, and that's huge.
Yeah, man. Yeah, had no idea at the time, but took a quick little chat GPT search from Coach Tyler to find it out. So it's pretty cool news to hear on the back.
That's epic,
you know?
man.
Yeah.
I mean, we all knew you were going to win. We didn't realize it was going to be so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it took you longer to walk out to get ready, to get checked than it did to actually win the fight.
I think I remember seeing somebody tag me in like an Instagram story after the fight of some dude that I have no idea who it was, but he was like, it took him longer to climb the cage than it did for him to finish the fight, which I thought was kind of funny.
Dude, that was hilarious though, because after you won, now we're just jumping right in.
Yeah.
After you won, you went over and saw Joe.
Yep.
And then you were gonna jump the cage, and you're like, "No, I need to go over here." So you went to go, and you're like, "Nope, not here. It's there."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a funny story. I had so many people giving me shit about it because they're like, "Dude, I thought you played basketball. I thought you would have some hops, And because the first jump I definitely bailed on, but the true story, the real reasoning behind that is I realized mid-air that I was about to jump on top of the door. Yep. And I was like, I probably shouldn't be on the part where they're, be coming in and out. So I figured I'd, reset, go back over to the side a little bit. So that's the truth behind it. So.
No, I mean, I saw it. I saw your decision pattern, and I saw your exit too.
Yeah.
So that was deliberate. I knew it was deliberate the whole time. But man, haters are gonna hate.
Exactly. Always got something to say.
Man, they ain't in the ring. They ain't win nothing.
Exactly.
It's like, well, what do you do?
Let them talk, man.
Let them talk. Yeah. They gotta figure themselves out.
Exactly.
But so Jake, you've been here in Arizona. Did you grow up here?
Born and raised, brother, 99. So.
Yeah. So you came over. You're like, I know where this place is. I know exactly where this place is.
Old hood right now, man. I lived in this same neighborhood for like 10 years, like junior high, high school, a couple years in college.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, small world.
So you like Arizona? You gonna stay?
Man, I'm just a homer, man. You know what I mean? Like I don't see myself anywhere else. Like it's always fun traveling and stuff, but every time I travel somewhere, I'm like, man, I love visiting this place, but I don't know if I'd want to live here. It's just we got everything we need out here. All my family's out here. It's just everything's 2 hours from this, 3 hours from that. You got pretty much everything you need out here. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me get back to this intro.
All right.
So Jake Reed is a fighter, but he's also a family man. He's a brother, a friend. He's got a lot going on in his life right now, and most people don't really see that. They just see you in the ring, and you're like, that dude's training all the time, which you are.
Yeah.
How do you make time for all of the life things that you're doing?
Man, that's a great question. It's just kind of staying based and staying, reminding yourself what's important in your life, So obviously,
how do you do that? How do you remind yourself that?
Just in the little moments when I like when I find myself getting caught up and getting pissed off about something. I like to kind of take a step back and bring it back and just remind myself like it could be a lot worse. You could not have your mom or your dad that you love, or not have this friend group or family group that you have. You cannot have the life that you have. So, and that just always kind of brings me back to square one and keeps me level. So
yeah, man. I feel that a lot. So I get asked questions about my rings. I wear rings when I'm not at the gym.
Yeah, quite a few there.
And so this one was my grandpa's congratulations on not dying in a Vietnam ring.
That's awesome.
And this is my congratulations on not dying in Iraq.
There you go.
And those are rings that remind me like the road rage is something I need to do today.
Exactly.
So it's the experiences in life that kind of shape us, man. And I know you've been through some rough stuff, and we talked a little bit about it. Your family life. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Let's dive into it, man.
Yeah, let's go. So, your brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's been about 7 years now.
7 years, and what are we in June now? So 7 years and a little under 5 months now. So
yeah, what happened?
My little brother took his life on February 27th, 2018. So he was 15 at the time. Just a freshman in high school, man. Just don't know what was going on, man. We have he had ADHD. He was on Adderall, so that might have played a part in it. But, you never know. You can ask yourself all these questions. But at the end of the day, he had something bugging him deep down inside of him that he didn't share with nobody. And, that he figured that was his solution. But just, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing you could do about it either.
Mm-hmm.
How 7 years doesn't, it seems like that probably. But is there any change in the way that you and your family have felt with a loss like that?
Yes and no. Obviously, the cliche saying, "Time's the only healer," but it never heals fully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely not as like raw of an emotion when I think about him now. I think about him more like a fond, like loving, remembering way.
Yeah.
Whereas first few months, it's just kind of a little bit of anger, a little bit of frustration, a lot of sadness. So just the emotions change a little bit, and the scope of them change a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's still a void, that's missing in your life. So, but yeah.
Yeah, stages of grief.
Yes,
I think
exactly.
is what we would always do whenever we had a suicide. Yeah, I mean, you don't guess. You can never guess. People are always like, well, they show signs. No, they don't.
Signs are bullshit, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's tough for the rest of us to have to figure out, because a lot of times we just don't know, man.
100%.
That's tough, man.
Yeah.
Did your brother fight?
No, actually, he was him and I were very, almost kind of polar opposites. I was always in athletics, outgoing. He was very reserved, very to himself. He liked staying at home. He liked staying in his room, playing video games all night. So he was, a little bit different, but he was, extraordinary in his own ways. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely, you can try and look back, like you said, and, they show signs, but, sometimes there are no signs, and sometimes a flip just switches, and they don't want to be here anymore. And that's been the biggest thing especially I know for me and my family, is just reminding ourselves that, he was going to do what he was going to do, whether I or my mom or my dad or anybody, reached out to him or tried to, see what was up, even if he was showing signs, but
yeah.
So that's the only thing you can really do sometimes, is remind yourself that.
That's so tough, man. I know somebody's probably watching a show right now, probably just went something fresh. It's probably fresh for them, and just hearing you say that, it's probably going to help a lot of people, man. So I appreciate you sharing that.
I mean, I sure hope so, man. I mean, it's crazy. Like, you meet a lot of people that have gone through similar experiences, and I always kind of, when it's an awkward part of the conversation, I always crack the joke, it's a club, but it's a shitty club to be a part of. But it's really true, man. It is a club, because it's a different type of hurt and different type of trauma, especially when, like you said, or there's no warning signs. All you can do is ask yourself questions. So it's just, I have found that it does help to have people to relate to in that situation. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I get that. All right, let me change topics a little bit.
Change the vibe a little bit.
So Ringside Unified Fighting, how'd you find out about that?
I started training 5 years ago. Seriously, probably about 2.5. Taking it seriously 2.5 years ago. And as soon as you kind of like engulf yourself in the MMA world, like, your local shows start popping up and stuff. So I've known about them for a while. Kind of just backtracking. I started with kickboxing fights. I had 4 of those, and I knew eventually the goal was always to fight MMA.
Yeah.
And as soon as I, sat down and told myself I was going to do this, they popped up on my radar, because that's, probably the best local MMA show for amateurs to fight on out here. So.
Absolutely. We just had another fighter on the show that fought for RUF, and he said I'm gonna play on words here. He said his first experience with RUF was rough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, as they grew into what they are now, there were some things that they discovered.
Yeah.
And this last one, I mean, you did your record-breaking fight.
Yeah.
in front of a record-breaking crowd.
Yeah.
That's kind of an awesome situation to be in.
Oh yeah, bro. It was amazing. Like couldn't have scripted a better
Right.
you know, debut local show than that for myself, you know. But even just not even just speaking for myself, like it looked like it ran pretty smoothly, and to have that many people there, such a amazing venue to have too. Like
Yeah, it's so cool.
my favorite spot I've ever fought at before. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I know. I've been following you for a while. I've watched you fight a lot, and yeah, you seem like you were just really comfortable that day.
yeah, I don't know what it was, man, but maybe it was the fight before that I lost. It kind of, maybe I needed that, but I was just telling my buddy this the other day, like. I remember the walkout, and I remember, you know, dapping everybody up and getting greased up, and then it's like kind of like I blacked out, and then memory pops back up again as soon as the fight is over. It's like it was maybe a different person in there or something, but like I just was in a trance, you know, and I was not going to lose that fight that night. So
yeah, so I think a lot of people call that the flow.
mm-hmm.
Whenever you take yourself to a different level as a fighter.
Yeah.
You become somebody different whenever you know that the cage is closed.
Yep.
And you got to perform.
Yeah.
Some people can't, man.
Yeah.
They get in front of crowds. I mean, they'll do it all day long in the gym. They'll do a street fight.
Yeah.
Put them in front of thousands of people and see what happens.
It is crazy how polar opposite one person can be. Even speaking for myself, like that kind of happened to me in my last fight when we went out to San Diego. Whole different environment in enemy territory, and like I definitely froze up in a very important part of the fight, and next thing you know, my arm was caught. You know, so that's the difference in the fights. Sometimes is split second, you know, non-reaction or reaction, and that's all she wrote. So yeah.
Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about that fight, because I remember watching you walk out, and you were in your head. I could tell you were in your head on that fight.
100%.
But they were all booing you.
Yeah.
And like, you were like, I was like, well, did he get paid to be the bad guy?
Yeah, right.
Because it looked like that on
100%,
TV, man.
yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, man. Like, where the hell is he?
Yeah.
I wanted to be there.
I know, right?
Because it was just, it was like, there was only 2 or 3 of you guys.
Yeah, it was wild, man. Yeah, like we were in San Diego. The kid I was fighting, it was a local kid out there. Typical, you know, pre-fight banter. I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna do this, whatever.
Yep.
And his fans got a hold of it, and they took it personal, which, you know, whatever. You know, it happens, but
it's a fight game.
Yeah. And then it was just, it just didn't feel right. You know, we spent freaking probably 5 hours in the dressing room. There was like a 2-hour intermission between fights, and so I had to warm up like 3 different times because we weren't sure when we were going on. So everything was just kind of off. And not making excuses, you know. The kid beat me that night. He had an amazing armbar on me, and you know, hats off to him. But it just like you just tell yourself that wasn't you that night. Hats off to your opponent, and take the loss and learn from it, which, you know, we did. So
yeah, I mean, so you never really win until you've experienced something like that. But I mean, I could just tell, like, when you were walking out, you weren't yourself, and I didn't know about all the back end of that.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense because you're like, all right, am I really fighting?
Yes.
Or are we just doing this again?
Right. Yeah.
That explains a lot. Let's talk about like what it takes to get into a fight. I mean, from like, hey coach, I'm gonna fight, to contract signing, to camp. Like, what is the process that most people don't see? They just see the fight. Yeah. Most people just see the fight.
Behind the
talk to me about how that buildup happens.
For sure. Like, we talking about like for a first fight, or just like
any fight, okay, man. Like, how would you prefer that it happens?
Okay.
Now that you've been in years of fighting.
Yeah. So I'll kind of give you a brief run. So like, before I had even fought, you know, I was just training kind of just for fun, you know, whatever, and then. So at some point, like, I started having some good rounds, and I was like, okay, maybe I want to do this. And then coach approached me. He's like, hey, you want to get on this kickboxing show? Like, I think you'd do good. And at the time, I wasn't necessarily that sold on myself, so I took a little bit longer. But hearing that from your coach is, you know, if your coach is approaching you and telling you, hey, we think you're ready, like, you're probably ready, you know?
Yeah.
Because most of the time, they're going to be a little bit skeptic end, you know? But as far as, like, now, so, like, obviously – there's all these different shows and stuff, but we try to stay local now, especially after the San Diego thing. But basically it works, you know, we're just always kind of staying in shape, staying in fight shape, maybe not as intense, but definitely, you know, staying active. And if there's an event that pops up, like RUF announces, hey, we got a June card, coach will hit it up the promoter. Hey, I got a guy this weight, this record, find him a match. And luckily for me, I'm at a pretty like common weight class, pretty common age, so it's not hard for me to find an opponent. I know some people struggle with that sometimes, but yeah, it's pretty easy to, you know, not easy, but it's not a super difficult process. But yeah, so you freaking throw your name in the hat pretty much, wait to hear back from the promoter, and you know, they'll say, hey, we got this name, and if it's all good, cool, they send the contract over, you sign it, and next thing you know, you're just in camp killing yourself for 6 to 8 weeks. So
yeah, okay, the camp part. 6 to 8 weeks. You've been going for more than that. You've been going for like 20 weeks.
It feels like it, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my last camp. So the camp before the San Diego fight was in November. I think we started like 10 weeks out just because there was a couple different cards we didn't know if we were gonna get on. That was at the later end of November. So yeah, that was probably the longest camp. This camp before this last one was about 8 weeks, about 2 months. So started first week in February, March, and then it was in April. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had the opportunity to interview, your coaches, the guys who are in your corner.
Oh yeah.
And they called it. They said Jake's gonna go out there. He's gonna do his thing. He's gonna dominate. It's gonna be a victory real quick.
Yeah.
And then that's what happened. What was in your head that day? Because I never asked you.
Yeah.
I stayed out of you or your space because I knew you were in that space.
Yeah.
But I never asked you that day. I wanted to.
Yeah.
What was in your head? How did you feel like the fight was going to go?
It's
Be
definitely
honest, man.
100%. Oh, I'm gonna hit you with the truth for sure, bro. It's kind of crazy, man. So most fights the week of, day before, day of, whatever, it's typically like, it's usually a roller coaster. You're going from super confident to what the hell's gonna happen to there's no way I'm losing, so it's very up and down. But this lead up to this fight like was times 10, man. Like I was definitely in my head because the last fight, I almost thought about packing it up and just calling it quits after that because I didn't respond to the adversity the way I wanted to in the moment. Yeah. But it was almost kind of like crazy and like I needed that to happen because it made me really fight that inner bitch and inner demon in me. So the whole week of I'm going through that crazy roller coaster of, am I gonna win? Oh, I'm so confident. Oh man, I'm scared. Like what's gonna happen to me? And even like I remember so vividly, like we're in the tunnel and I'm sitting there waiting for them to call the other kid's name, and in my head, like the inner bitch in me is literally talking to me like, it's not too late to quit. Like we can fake an injury, fake like we're sick, whatever, we can get out of this. And then just kind of shaking it off and trying my best, just like whatever, shut up. And then as soon as my name's called and I'm walking out there, it's like just silence. So
yeah. I got a clip of you going through that process.
Yeah, talking to myself.
I'm going to play it right now. But in this process, I could see you talking to yourself, and it looked like you were fighting your little bitch.
Oh, fuck, 100%,
like,
bro.
I mean, you went from like I'm calm to like I'm up here, man. Yep. You were whatever it was, but you said inner bitch, inner demon. Are you fighting two that's personas there?
That's your biggest. It's the same person. I like to think of it as a demon, but that's what I call it, is like the inner bitch in me. You know what I mean? But it's like a demon, But that's at the end of the day, that's the biggest enemy because you're not gonna be able to control what the fuck the other dude does or how he trains. Anything. The only thing you can control is yourself. So like it's so cliche to say, but it's 100% true. Like yourself and that inner bitch in you is your biggest enemy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, McGregor talks about confidence. He says those with confidence are going to win. Mm-hmm. I notice every time I step, it doesn't matter who it is either. If I step in with confidence, and it could be an argument. Yeah. It could be, anything in life. Yeah. When I come in with confidence, I'm winning.
100%.
I noticed that your process during that time, you came in with confidence to stamp out anything else there.
Exactly.
That confidence is a learned thing. Mm-hmm. How long did it take for you to learn how to do that?
It's a lifelong thing, right? Like all the experiences and battles you've had in your life build that at the end of the day, you know.
So you're fighting it every day?
100%, dude. Like,
Yeah.
for a hard training session, man, I don't want to fucking do this day. And you fight it. Fuck that. We got work to do, you know what I mean? Like, it's an everyday thing, and it's like Coach Tyler always talks about winning the little battles, and it's just a little battle every day, like beating that inner bitch that's telling you to quit, telling you don't want to do this, and fighting it. And like talking about before the fight, like I remember when it was like I could really hear it talking to me. That's when I started, you know, you're too fucking tough. You're too fucking tough. They're gonna fuck this kid up. Like you gotta counteract that with the most extreme, like opposite talk of that. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
but it's definitely like a skill, but it's definitely something that you practice every day, and whether you realize it or not, with all the hard things you do throughout each and every day. So
that's good, man. Yeah. So Don talked about the first time he ever went into the cage, and he said he remembers locking Don Fry. For those of you guys that
OG
aren't
at the
following,
fight game.
Yeah. He said his first ex-wife told him, you know, he's got all these get rich quick schemes, and then he said he remembers them locking the cage, and he's like, me and my get rich quick themes, man.
Went out the door.
But a lot of people see the fighting thing; they don't realize that there's money in it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of money in it.
Yeah.
So what makes you want to fight?
Man, there's so many different
I know,
things
right?
you can touch on in that question. You know what I mean? Like obviously, like the end goal is, yes, I want to make money fighting. Like that's probably like the main motivation, is make a career, make a living wage, like set yourself up, set your family up in the future, which at the high end of this sport you can definitely do, but they don't talk about the in between or the lower end, which is, you know, you make it to the UFC, they still have like 10K show, 10K win. If you fight 3 times a year, that's $60,000. You still have to work another job. You know what I mean? So you have to touch on the other things you're fighting for to get you past that point, which is definitely, you know, like another thing that I fight for is just like proving it to myself that I can do it. You know what I mean? Like I truly believe, and like I've heard my coaches say it and it resonates with me, but I truly believe like you've won once you stepped in the cage and you're in there, you know what I mean? That's you've already won. Now at that point it's just, you know, putting what you've worked on into something like people can see, you know what I mean? So
yeah, man. Yeah. I definitely know what you mean. Yeah. So every time I've worked to attain a position, which is what you're doing to get into the cage, you sign up for a position whenever you sign the contract to fight some other man.
Yep.
That's also training.
Yeah.
Sometimes not, but in your case, they always are.
Yeah.
Whenever you sign that dotted line, it starts a process, man. And it's a process a lot of people are uncomfortable with taking. They don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I heard you say is you want to do this for you. You're not doing it for anyone else now.
Exactly.
But whenever you establish yourself as a family man or whatever you decide to do in the future, you're looking at that as an option.
100%.
Are you looking at another option to exit out of that after you become a pro UFC fighter?
Yeah. I mean, you always got to keep your avenues open.
What does that look like?
Like, I picture myself, you know, making a good career fighting, making some money, and then whether like I'd love to be in a spot where I can open my own gym and teach people what I've learned, and you know, especially with like the younger people, like I want to help these like kids that are getting bullied or, you know, don't have anything to look forward to in life, and give them something to, because martial arts, as Coach Tyler says, literally saves lives, and to give that back is like, you know, it's something that I would strive to, you know, be a part of one day. So
yeah, I like that. So John Maxwell, huge guy in the leadership space, he says that you have to do the did before you can do something like that. You know, you have to get something that you did.
Exactly.
It gives you the credibility. So you're doing that right now. You're building the credibility. So a gym space. What's your favorite martial art, or mix of martial arts? What are your favorite? What are your top 3?
Yeah. That's a tough question, man. I mean, I get definitely like my roots, BJJ. That's what I started with, so that's in there for sure.
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
I love striking, so you got to throw in Muay Thai, and then like I guess wrestling, maybe those three, just the main ones. Like I'm not super into the like crazy like bullshito shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of experts out there.
Dude, nothing gets on my fucking nerves more than seeing these like fat goobers with Instagram reels teaching people how to do like these stupid little like tricks and stuff. I'm like, what, dude? You're like 400 pounds. You can barely move. How is anybody gonna listen to you? Like,
Yeah, people do.
yeah.
Well, people also make fun of them too.
Oh, I know. And they have, and you know it's bad when they have their comments turned off on the reels.
It's like, you're an influencer.
Yeah.
Are you though?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're definitely an entertainer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Selling snake venom to these poor people, man. I tell you what.
So you talked about poor kids who may be getting bullied. Do you think that still happens a lot nowadays, or
Dude,
do you hear it?
I see a new freaking video on Twitter, Instagram every day of some kid getting picked on and shit. You see it every day, and like even just at like our gym, like I've seen so many of the parents that do jiu-jitsu, they put their kids in it and they're just talk about like the effect it's had on their lives. Like they might have a shy like kid that gets picked on a little bit. Like my the dude next door that runs the PT Dash physical therapy. Shout out to Mike Haywood, my boy. He's told me before about how his kid or his stepkid is getting picked on. I'm like, man, I wish I could be in front of this kid and like show him some stuff and be like, if somebody messes with you, like you do this to them, like it sucks, but like violence is like you gotta be capable of it. Like if a kid knows he has no reason to be scared of you, kids don't know any better. They're gonna big dog you if they can. You know what I mean? So and it's fucking ruthless out there. So
yeah, my youngest just left for Texas. He's living in Texas now, but throughout his childhood, I put him in martial arts, and just the knowledge the other kids knew that he was training in martial arts was enough to leave him alone. Yeah, essentially,
100%.
And the knowledge of something, it's like I think it was Coach Tyler that said, it's like people who sing. If you don't practice singing, you're going to sound terrible when you get in front of the karaoke mic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing with fighting, and you can't just see red.
Yeah.
And bullshito your way through it. That's not how it works.
Some people are still convinced they can, which is hilarious to me. But
I don't understand where their confidence comes from. Like maybe their mom has a big, I don't know. Like,
I mean, like I can it's men, we're men.
Yeah.
We're not, no man is going to be like, yeah, you could probably kick my ass, whatever.
Yeah.
Unless you're like,
unless you know.
Yeah. Unless you're like humble, which most of us aren't sometimes, you know what I mean? But
well, I think MMA and martial arts gives you that humble factor.
Oh yeah.
With other people who practice it.
100%.
But it gives you 100% confidence with other people who don't.
Oh yeah.
Because they only have to practice a little bit to take
exactly, bro.
To take the life out of you. Your breath can get taken away.
Exactly. It's crazy. Like the margins, like when you're higher up, right? Like they're super small. Like the difference between a black belt and a brown belt isn't that much. Yeah. The difference between a 3-month or 6-month white belt and somebody that's never trained is fucking it's like humongous.
Yeah. Like when I started now, I never did jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
All right. Full disclaimer until I came here.
Yep.
And I always did striking. I always did wrestling. Mm-hmm. Wrestling's different than jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So I find myself in weird positions. But what I found was the first day I took a jiu-jitsu class and got strangled, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm a combatives instructor. I've been fighting my whole life. You just strangled me. How did that happen?
Yeah.
And then I'm asking them questions. They're like, this is basic stuff.
Yeah.
Like, piddly.
Yeah.
And then,
you're really asking me this right now?
Yeah. A couple months later, the new kids come in. They're like, how long have you been training? I'm like, a month.
Yeah.
And they're like, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's how quick it comes. Mm-hmm. If you're serious about it.
For sure, bro. For sure.
So you said something earlier. You said that you trained, but you really weren't serious for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Was it Coach Tyler that pulled it out of you? And he's like, you know what? I see something in you.
Yeah. It was, I mean, definitely like him coming to me and asking me if I wanted to fight definitely had something to do with it. Like at first, like I literally, so backstory, I still work at the bar and restaurant that Angie, Wyatt's wife, used to own, right? So I was working for Angie, knew Wyatt because of Angie, but I had never been to the gym.
Yeah.
Seen him every once in a while, but and she would always like, plant little seeds like, hey, you can come to jiu-jitsu. Hey, you can learn how to. She would like
She's
take
good
my
at
back
that,
and
isn't
choke
she?
me at work. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I'm a girl. I just did that to you. I just finally had enough of it. I was like, screw it. I'm gonna come in. So came in, and it's tales all this time. Coach always says it. You come in and you get your ass whooped, and you react one of two ways.
Yep.
You either say fuck that, I'm never letting that happen again, or two, I want to learn how to fucking do that. And I chose the latter. And so just like it's just something to do, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have much going on in my life. Like I was going to college, but I wasn't really like passionate about what I was learning. And so didn't really know what I wanted to do, but just took this up. And so we're a couple years and I'm probably a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and I'd only been doing striking for probably like a year maybe. And starting to get a little good at it, getting decent rounds with some of the guys I've been doing for a while.
Yeah.
And coach, and then the final straw is probably just coach asking me like, hey, I think you're ready. You think you're ready? And I was like, I don't know. Like I even took like probably another 4 or 5 months of training before I took a fight after coach had asked me. So just wanted to be really sure. So
yeah. Did you ever fight before that?
no, I mean, no like street fights or nothing. Like I got into like a couple push matches like in a basketball game or something, but I was always a little like
Scuffles.
I played basketball like my entire life growing up. So like, and I was always the smallest, whitest kid on the court, which doesn't necessarily mean I can probably fight. So, but I was always talking the most shit. So I was like, might as well be able to back it up if I'm going to talk it. So,
yeah. Have you ever had to?
No, only once. I was in like 8th grade. This kid like slapped me, but then like the teachers broke it up, so I didn't have no chance. I would have got him for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I would have saw red, bro.
For sure. Yeah, different shades of red too.
Exactly.
Man. Oh man, no. I always ask the question because what brings you in to martial arts is always different for everyone.
100%.
And then what brings you into a championship portion of martial arts is also another step. Man. So it's like there's different steps to this whole path that you're on.
Yeah.
And most people don't see it.
Yeah.
Until they're asked about it.
Exactly.
So I was curious.
Yeah, I definitely like. I think it all comes down to me just being like an ultra competitive person. You know what I mean? Like even with fucking board games at home, like I used to always piss my mom off so much because I would be so mean when I would lose and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just in my blood to be freaking competitive. And I've heard Wyatt talk about it too. Like he's the same way, but like just to think that like somebody can like whoop me in something, like I'm like, no, I'm gonna make sure that's not possible. You know what I mean? So
see, this is where I love it. Where if you're a man, and I'm speaking in the camera right now, if you're a man and you're looking for something that will pull out the primal urges in you, would you suggest martial arts? I mean, 100%. That's me my whole life. I've always studied like different things in martial arts. I just find a better quality type of man that is driven to do something that I would want to be friends with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not bad mouthing any of my friends. Yeah, I am.
Get your ass in the gym, boys.
Yeah. If you're not in combat sports, you're not going to act like me.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's a small percentage of people who can carry on that confidence.
100%.
And it's different levels of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's humility that gives you the confidence that you need later.
Exactly.
So a lot of people aren't seeing that. All right. Did you so you spoke to the bullies? Did you have somebody come to you as a child to protect them? Like when you were growing up, did you have somebody like, hey, somebody's picking on me? Would you come with me?
No, never that.
Why are you so emotionally charged about helping kids that get bullied?
That's a good question, man. I've never really thought that deep about it, but I guess it does kind of just like, so I was an older brother, and I think it comes down to that kind of like that being ingrained in me. Like, like being an older brother, like you kind of keep that outlook for like the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So like, one of those deals, like the kids at the gym, like I'll poke fun and make fun of all the younger guys at the gym and give them shit, but like only I can do that. You know what I mean? Like somebody else does that, we're up in arms. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I like that. So this is I have a post that went like it's got millions of, I think it's like 5 or 7 million views.
Yeah. But
it's a study. The study comes up every 5 to 7 years.
Okay.
And it's how men act with other men.
Yeah.
but it's always a woman that discovers it.
Of course.
And it's like men rib other men.
Okay.
Like right to your face.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Jake, you're slow, man.
Oh, yeah.
You'll never hit me with the jab.
Exactly.
You know, and then the next week, you'll hit me with the jab.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you'll never hit me with the jab. You know what I mean? I'll continue.
You do that.
Yeah, I'll let you do that. But it's like, you know, I'm going to give you shit, and you're going to give me shit.
Yeah.
And that's just part of being a man. Like,
Exactly.
we're going to do it to our face. I'm going to do it to your face.
Exactly.
Women do the opposite.
Behind their backs.
Yeah. So everyone discovers this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're calling out, you know, being another echelon type of man. I think you're calling that out. It's just, I understand it now.
Yeah.
Your brother probably had something to do with it, but I think that's going to continue.
Yes.
In you. So okay, you got another fight coming up now.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel?
So ready, man. I'm just ready to get back out there, man. You know, just pumped. I'm ready to build off the momentum we built off the last fight, and ready to just keep improving. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
definitely, I love this matchup that I got. I think I'm better everywhere. You know, that's just how I feel. And just can't wait to go out there and prove it. You know what I mean?
What's your favorite part about the fight day? Like, not the end.
Yeah.
I know that's the
Okay,
that's the answer.
Yeah.
But like the fight day,
Yeah.
like you wake up,
Uh-huh.
like walk me through what you do on a fight day.
Yeah, so we'll just go back to this. So this last fight, I woke up, you know, got ready, went and had a nice little breakfast, had some steak and eggs. Got to have a good meal first thing to start the day, you know what I mean? Went and watched the boys train for probably 30 minutes, then got a little shakeout on the pads, just get the blood flowing a little bit.
Yeah.
Got an IV, get rehydrated, and then just chilling out, like trying to relax as much as possible because that time right before the fight, you're going to be stressing yourself out. So you want to be as relaxed as possible before. Then got a nice lunch and then headed out there. Probably got there, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and the fights are at 7. So you're chilling for a long time, which is the worst part, you know. I hate just sitting there, but
yeah. The day before too.
Yeah,
it continues.
Mm-hmm. It's the longest. Like, it's so funny because it's about 24 hours is the longest 24 hours before you step in, and then when you get in the cage, time slows down even fucking more.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you're done, it like speeds right back up to like normal speed. But my favorite part about the fight day is probably, like, honestly, dude, it's weird to say, but that little moment of time when I'm in the tunnel and I'm talking to myself and fighting that inner bitch in me, just.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got a clip of that where you're coming out of the tunnel. We'll play that too on this episode. It's an energizing feeling, man. And I wasn't even the fighter. I was just behind you in the tunnel coming out.
Right?
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah.
It was really something. Like,
I get chills sometimes watching that back, like just of seeing myself.
I do too, man. I'm just like, what a magical moment.
Yeah.
That walk, that final walk,
Yep.
where all of it comes down to now.
Yeah.
And you're gonna say goodbye to everyone, and you're gonna. It's only you.
Yep.
In that cage.
Yeah.
And you know that's your final walk before it's only you.
Yep.
Man, what a powerful moment.
It like 100% powerful is the perfect word. Yeah. Such a powerful moment. And it like shows you how fucking powerful the human mind is, because you can either let that inner bitch in you win and then go out there and have a performance like I did in my fight before this last one.
Yeah.
And go out there and defeat it and have a performance like this last fight. You know what I mean?
All right, man. Let's go. Like pop media, if you will.
Okay.
Tyson fight. Do you watch the Tyson Jake Paul thing?
I tried my best not to. My roommates ended up fucking getting it and putting it on. I was like, why are you putting this shit on in front of me right now? I can't stand anything with fucking Jake Paul.
Yeah, me neither. I don't like the guy.
No.
And he's turning into a decent fighter, which makes me even more mad.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
But anyways,
yes.
Did you see Tyson as he walked out towards the ring? Did you see that walk?
No, I think I caught it like right as like the middle, like the first round probably.
Yeah, man. Okay. Yeah. So I was out in Hawaii. I was doing a job out there, and we watched it later.
Okay.
And I remember watching him walk out, and I was like, he's gonna lose, man. This is totally fake.
Yeah.
You could see it on his face.
Yeah.
He was disappointed in himself.
Yeah. Like, what did I do? Why am I in this situation
Yes.
right now?
I was like, holy crap.
That's not a feeling you want to have before going to a fucking fight. That's for sure.
Right. No, But that moment solidified. That's why I was asking. Like, that's got to be when they say your name and then you start walking and your music's playing. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Next level.
Yep. Yeah, it's like time. Like I said, time slows down something crazy, and you're just like the most present you will ever be in your life is in that moment. Just I don't know what it is, but like you're just present and you're just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then once they close the door and they say go, it's like something else takes over, and you're present, but you're not. It's like almost out of body. It's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's when your training kicks in, you figure out where you're at.
Yes, exactly.
But I mean, there's a lot of psychology there too. So I think it was Coach Wyatt said the first person to touch their opponent usually wins the fight. The first one to throw, is the first one that
makes
raise
sense.
their hand.
Yeah,
and I think the psychology there is, hey, feel this.
Yeah, first one to.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah,
this is real.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Osama just said it when he said, whenever you're sparring, you don't go as hard as whenever you're in the ring.
Yeah.
He's like, it's a gunshot. Whenever you're in the ring, you feel like it's a gunshot. I was like, wow, I'd never thought about that. Did you have a similar experience where you're like holding back during sparring, but then you're like, guess what? I'm here.
Yeah, for sure. Like it is kind of funny. Like I've told Coach before, it's like, he's like, stop pulling your punches, like extend, get full extended on it. Like, I don't want to fucking hurt my training partners. He's like, well, it's part of the game, man. But it's like, it's definitely, different speed, different pressure, different explosiveness behind everything in the real fight. That's an interesting way to like put it, like a gunshot, I guess.
Yeah, it's all right. Full speed. Jake Reed. I mean, it sounds badass.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Tyler came up.
He came up with that.
Yeah. I had fought my first 6 fights without a nickname or whatever, and I think he was just finally like, whatever, just figure one out. And next thing I know, he said it, and it stuck, and now here we are. So, and it sounds good. I'm like, yeah. As long as I didn't have to come up with it, they could have said whatever.
No one wants to pick their own name.
Yeah, it's kind of corny if you ask me if you pick your own nickname. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we do call signs in the Air Force, right?
Okay.
And the people that pick their own names, we make fun of them.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. See, I'm glad I'm not alone. Yeah.
Yeah. We're like.
What was yours?
Mine's Atlas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my real name's Joshua.
Yeah.
And they gave me the call sign Atlas twice.
Okay.
And the last time I was like, guys, I'm touched. I'm actually going to use this.
Yeah.
And then my fiance was like, you should just go with Atlas. Everyone calls you Atlas anyways. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
So
stuck.
That's where it's at, man.
Whoever came up with it must have been on something, man.
Yeah. It was something else, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the first time it was a joke. You usually get a call sign from something bad. So the Air Force likes this call sign ceremonies. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
Mine was it was very heartfelt, man. And like I always made fun of people who use their call signs. Mm-hmm. And then now I use it full time. I'm that guy now.
Funny how that works, huh?
Isn't it? But like I remember them saying your name, and they're like, Jake, full speed. I was like, that is so badass.
Yeah, it came out pretty good, man.
Yeah, it did, man. So you're gonna stick with that then?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess I got no choice but to now. It's funny the fight kind of fit the name, is with full speed, 39 seconds, whatever.
For sure.
Was, so.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about that. Your submission, you would have been sooner. You could have taken it sooner. How did you know that you weren't 100% engaged in that submission? Because you recognized it, you had it, and then you were like, it's not all the way there, and then you adjusted and you took it.
Yep. Yeah, man, it was. I just recently, probably about like 6 months ago, started getting really good at like guillotines and darces and just snatching them up everywhere.
Yeah.
Kind of to backtrack, we knew the kid was a wrestler. We knew probably like he was gonna shoot once I heard him, and he kind of overextended, and I stepped back and caught him and wobbled him, and then once I put him on the cage and popped him a couple times, like the training kicked in. I was like, okay, yeah, he's definitely shooting. What do you know? He's shooting right now.
Yep.
Sprawl hard. And I was just like, oh. His neck's here and his arm's here. So I originally went for the darce, kind of try to roll him, but he had a really good base. So he was still on his knees, and that's kind of hard to finish that choke because you kind of want him on their side so you can start compressing the head. So I knew, like, I wasn't squeezing with my full blast because I didn't want to tire myself out.
Yeah.
And I was just, but I felt his neck and, like, chin, like, perfectly along my arm. So I was like, okay. And then, like, luckily he was so, like, skinny, I was able to cup the backside of his arm with my one hand so I could base out and just turn it into kind of like a, like, arm and guillotine almost. And once I based out and got my, like, I do remember hearing Wyatt yelling, "Get your legs involved!" And as soon as I threw that leg over, like, I knew that shit was locked in.
It.
If you watch the video back, like, I have a clip of it, but he's, like, ready to tap as soon as I throw that leg over.
Yeah.
And he taps 5 or 6 times before the ref sees it because the ref is on the other side. And once the ref breaks it up, he kind of, like, stumbles and, like he was going out. So
Yeah. I could definitely tell he was going out. You were on top of the cage, but he was still.
I didn't even notice until later. You know what I mean? So
nah, man, that was awesome. So you could hear Coach.
Yes.
The whole time.
And it was one of those things, like, my training definitely kicked in, like, at first, like, all the drilling where you're sprawling, all the reps of, like, I'm pretty sure we went over, like, guillotines and darces, like, a month prior or whatever. So I just been repping that, and, like, so that was, you know, kudos to my training and everything, but it just goes to show you, like, what having a good corner can do, because all I needed was that little reminder.
Yep.
Whether I was going to do it with or without him saying that, who knows, but all I know is as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, and here we are. So yeah.
Yeah, and jiu-jitsu is all about the little things. Like,
exactly,
you know,
the small little details.
It's cool whenever you have somebody that can see that, pick it out, and then boom.
Yeah.
So in combat situations, 3 things happen. One, you pee your pants, or sometimes you poo.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon.
Yeah. So that doesn't happen really in the ring, I don't think. So that one's kind of combat. Like, you're surprised, and your body's like, guess what? We're gonna get lighter.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, thanks.
Surprise.
You know, so that happens a lot. It happens a lot to a lot of guys in combat.
It's understandable.
And then the other 2 are a tunnel vision, where your focus just goes into whatever is threatening you at the time.
Yep. Fight or flight.
Yeah. Or freeze. A lot of people freeze. They just don't move.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, great.
Yeah. Training didn't kick
We have a number that doesn't number now.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah.
And that's a reality. But the other thing is things slow down. Like, you feel like you're moving slower.
Mm-hmm.
Did you experience any of those things when you were in the ring?
Yeah. 100% I'd say, like, if I feel like watching it back, especially, just like, established that in my mind, but, like, he just barely missed me with, like, his 1-2. Like, I was just out of the way.
Yeah.
Stepping off just enough. And I think that's because, you know, time slows down, so I was able to see that coming.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, I landed a couple right hands on him, and he's, you know, against the cage. So, yeah, I'd definitely say, like, I've always said, like, the fight is the longest, slowest, like, 3 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever, of your life, because it feels so fucking slow, but really, like, it goes by so fast at the same time. Like, I don't know, it's weird to explain it, but
no, I understand that for sure. Well, it's the whole thing. I want to bring something in, because you said you heard Coach. In combat situations, you have those 3 things happen, but you have to train yourself to hear things.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the things that we would do in the military would train us to take commands and be able to hear in the situation. What amazes me is that you can hear your corner and not someone else's.
Yeah.
Isn't that a weird thing?
Yeah, I think it's a familiarity thing, probably. Like, you're like,
because people are yelling.
Yeah. But you don't pick it up.
It's loud.
Yeah, you just pick up the familiar voices. Probably. I'd say it's probably. It has to be that. Like, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, when you're saying, I heard Coach, and I'm like, how did you hear Coach? Yeah. But yeah, I guess, like, you don't really train that, but you do.
Yeah, I think it's just something that you have to, like, experience. Like, I remember my first 2 fights. Like I didn't hear shit. Like, it was just like, you know what I mean? Like, no sound. And then watching back the fight on video, like, I hear Tyler, hey, watch out, like, yelling all obnoxious and shit, you know what I mean? So
yeah, and he definitely, like, gets into it. So one of the things I noticed from your corner was they went out. They were the only team that went out and looked at the ring to see how they could actually talk to you.
Yeah. Well, they were definitely like very worried about the setup because they had just cornered Braden the event beforehand, and like they were like, "You're so far away from the cage, and like he can't hear you." So I know they were like very concerned about that. Did they end up like fixing it, or was it?
Yeah, actually, so they engaged with RUF, and RUF came down and said that you can do these things according to their certification, whoever certifies them. So they actually got it cleared to where they could actually get to you.
Oh, nice.
By voice, which is cool.
Yeah,
that's another thing. People don't think about that stuff unless they have experience.
Exactly.
All right. So talk to me. We talked earlier today about becoming a better man. How are you looking at what you're doing in life and the things that you're doing in order to make yourself better as a person, as a man?
Yeah, definitely. At the end of the day, like everything in life comes down to being consistent and showing up, right?
Yeah.
So training, if I don't show up to practice every day and I'm not consistent, I'm not going to get the results that I want, without a doubt. If I'm at work and I don't show up, I'm not going to have a fucking job, but I'm not going to get what I want out of it. If I'm at home and I don't show up for my family or show up for my friends, that relationship's going to be tainted. They're not going to want me around. So it's just about like showing up and being consistent, and just like I said, like taking little victories every day and learning from those, right? And the defeats too, you know what I mean? So
everything's a learning opportunity.
Yeah, there's so many parallels from martial arts into like the real world or like everyday life. It's like it's so crazy. So
how do you do that? Do you like recap? Do you write down things? Do you have conversations with people? How are you doing that today?
I need to be better about writing stuff down. I'm so bad about it. But I just try to, like, I'm a super off the cuff person and like wing it type of guy. So I'm not good about that, but definitely just like, it just comes down to, like taking in everything one step at a time, right? So when you're in training, if we're going over like an armbar per se, like there's 4 or 5 details leading up that incorporate the entire move, right? And I tried to think about my life like that too. Like, okay, if I want to do this today, like I got to do this, and this first, you know what I mean? Or if I want to be a better son, like I got to work on this, and this. Or a better brother, I got to work on this, and this. So just like focusing on the details, I'd say is probably like a big part of it for me.
That's a huge answer, man. That's pretty complicated. The way you do it is it looks like you're reviewing tape and then memories to kind of put together what is a priority for you.
Definitely, yeah.
That's cool, man.
It's a parallel for sure, yeah.
And then the fact that you even said it, like most people wouldn't say that. They would be like, "Oh, I'm working on stuff." They wouldn't point out like, maybe I could write down more stuff.
Exactly, and like, I think that goes back to like life too. Like you're never gonna be a better son, brother, father, whatever it is, if you don't take a step back and like acknowledge your shortcomings or stuff you're not doing as well as you should, right? Which again translates to the gym. If I want to get better or if I'm getting taken down all the time, right? I got to take a step back and okay, why am I getting taken down? Well, I probably got bad takedown defense. And you go, okay, why do I have bad takedown defense? Because of this, and this. Same thing with, why am I not, building a better relationship with this person? Well, it's because of this, and this. You know what I mean? So it all fucking translates, dude. It's like it's wild.
You always got to look at yourself, though. People don't do that.
No, for sure, and that's the biggest part. Because like in like team sports, right? Like I think Wyatt talked about this in your guys' episode you just dropped. Like, cool, like team sports, like we may have won the game, but I had a bad game. Well, who cares? The team won, Combat sports, like if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're not going to get the results you want, point blank, period. And I think that best translates to life because you can't rely on other people day in and day out, like it's a team sport, to get the results that you want day in and day out, right?
Right.
So, like, that's just the biggest part that speaks to me, I'd say, about it. And that's what I think translates the best and like reminds me like why I do this every day and why it's good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, you definitely have that personal accountability down, man. And I see it. I see it in the gym, and just talking to you, I can hear it. So I applaud you, because this is a journey that most people don't get until they're way older.
100%.
You know what I mean? So the fact that you're pulling all this from life, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
Thank you.
It's great to see it. Yeah.
It's definitely something I've been trying to work on, you know.
Well, I'm gonna do something personal here.
Okay.
I wanna ask you a personal story.
100%.
From your childhood. Who is the man in your life that you think influenced you the most?
Yeah.
And why?
Definitely my dad. My dad is an old school blue collar, you know, cowboy. Started a landscape business, worked on the railroad all his life. Like, just
What's his name?
Jack.
Yeah.
Jack Reed. He's a great man, but he instilled a lot of lessons in me as a kid. That I credit all my work ethic and everything to. He would wake me and my brother up on a summer day. You know, we don't have school. We want to sleep in. We want to play video games. And he would wake us up and make us go mow the lawn or help him feed the horses or the cows and all that stuff. And as much as I bitched and complained at him back then, and there was times I was cussing him out under my breath, like, you fucking asshole. I don't do this right now.
Yeah.
But looking back at it now, I'm so thankful for those moments, because if my dad would have just let me fuck off and do whatever I wanted to, like, where would I be now? Probably wouldn't be worth the shit. So
They say that you turn into your parents later in life.
Yeah.
And I see a little bit of that.
Yeah.
You think you're gonna do that to your kids?
Oh man, I haven't even thought that far ahead, man. I can barely take care of myself, much less a kid.
Fair.
You know what I mean? But
Fair.
I mean, I'd like to say yes, but you know, that's so far ahead in the future. Like, a lot could happen to where maybe I don't. You know what I mean?
Could be 9 months in the future, man.
Yeah, dude. Knock on wood, not the case. Shit.
No, man, I won't do that to you. I'm not gonna curse you like that,
God,
dude. If in 9 months you're having a kid, I'm dropping this episode.
You're my god. You got to be my godfather at that point, bro.
Hey, man, I'll do it, man. You know, ominous, dominus, your kid, man.
Right.
No, man, I'm not wish that on you. Kids are great.
Yeah.
Whenever they're expected.
Exactly.
Unexpected kids are a little bit more harder to deal with. They're all blessings, but
exactly, it's all part of God's plan at the end of the day.
yeah,
So
it is, man. It's all blessings, but
yeah, man. Shout out to my pops, man. He's
that's cool,
a great
man.
influence in my life. So
What's the name of his company?
it's Reed Landscaping. Pretty not original, you know what I mean?
No, I think it's on the back of my shirt, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they sponsor. Yep.
Yeah, I have to. That's cool, man. You got a
He's
sponsor.
he's kind of hands off now. He's semi-retired. He'll help out odds and ends, but he don't really run it no more. So.
That's how it works, man.
Yeah.
That's the exit strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like he's still teaching you how to keep it going. That's good.
He's got it down, man, for sure.
That's awesome, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one major lesson from life. As a man, you've figured out a lot of things. What's one thing you would drop on someone that you actually care about that would help them in their life?
One of the biggest lessons I think I've learned as a man, especially, is just taking responsibility for yourself and your actions and everything like that. And again, it goes back to the training, but like, you have to be, you can't count on anybody else to hold you accountable. If you can't hold yourself accountable, nobody else is going to be able to at the end of the day. So definitely, like, having that accountability and responsibility to try and better yourself every day, and just focusing on the little battles and the little successes of every day, I'd say is probably the main thing I've taken away so far in my life. So
yeah, man, that equates to wins, man. So
sure.
I've been watching that. It's been really awesome seeing you win. I love
brother.
doing it. I'm going to give you a gift.
Oh, sure.
This is a multi-purpose tool. It has a pen that has never been used, obviously.
Okay.
On one side,
There
the
we
other
go.
side
Screwdriver.
is a screwdriver.
Nice.
It flips out. This will clean your phone or whatever.
Nice.
But when you put it on here, it turns into a glass breaker. So if you find yourself by a lake or whatever,
go.
you're good to go.
Awesome, bro.
And then it's real lightweight, so it'll add to your lethality.
Nice.
Wounded Warrior is the product maker of this, so we support them as well. and I want to give you this as a
Awesome.
gift for being on the show.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, brother. Thank you so much for coming in
course, man.
and spending some time with us today.
Always.
How can people find you and sponsor you?
Hit me up on Instagram at Jake with 2 E's, Reed with 3 E's. I'm on Facebook, Jake Reed. Shout out to, I'll be on Targeted Podcast, one of my great sponsors
Always.
here. ETHOS Martial Arts AZ. Shout out to them. So yeah, anywhere on Instagram or Facebook. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Can't wait to see the next victory. I'm going to be there.
Yes, sir.
With the camera in hand, but we're going to put a lot of this stuff
There we go.
from this last one up there. It's going to be an awesome. Thank you so much for coming in the
Thank you, bro.
studio today.
Oh yeah.
And thank you for listening. We are gaining so much traction from having people like Jake come in and tell us these secrets that just don't get told unless you're in a studio like this. So if you like this, subscribe, share it with somebody that might get more benefit from the fighting world and in their life. And we just thank you so much. So until next time, this has been Targeted.
Let's go.
Stay with us as we stay on target with another awesome episode coming up next. We'll see you there. And subscribe to Targeted now. As an ambassador to buckedup.com, I get to give you our special discount. That's Atlas25 when you go to buckedup.com to get that special discount. Only for our listeners, Atlas25. Go to buckedup.com now.